and Microsoft is promoting that. And there's lot of discussion, the recent build program, also the build event that Microsoft do annually in Seattle. Last week it was, last week. So the format for today's webinar is very simple. Saket would be discussing this topic with some demos, hands-on, and let's see how much of hands-on you guys can follow because the time is short. And we keep it open towards the end for 10-15 minutes for open Q&A. And once the session is over, you'll be getting one link just to share your thoughts about the program, and another link for a small assessment, which would be MCQ kind of assessment. So in case you wish to check what you have learned, so that will be really helpful. So without wasting much time, over to you, Saket. So let's welcome Saket, who is the instructor for this program. Over to you, Saket, please. Take it.
Yeah, thanks, Navjot. And very good afternoon to all of you guys. Am I audible clearly?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so just sharing my screen also. Confirm once you can see that.
Yeah, it's there.
Great. So I hope the agenda has been already shared with you. This is almost the same thing uh, with a small tweak here and there. Uh, so the overall idea of this webinar is not to go deep dive into the topic, but to get a kind of a curtain raiser about what GitHub Copilot is, what Copilot Chat is, what are the capabilities in different areas. So that's where we will be having a small discussion to start with on what is GitHub Copilot, how it is associated with GitHub, what is Copilot Chat, how it is different from GitHub Copilot, and is it different or is it just an add-on, whatever it is, why it is a big deal for developers today, and then the different Microsoft Copilot and GitHub Copilot tools that we have. So like GitHub Copilot is there, Microsoft 365 Copilot is there, Power Platform Copilot integration is there, how it all works. Some prompting tips for the developers. Again, there is usually a concern about whether it is safe to use Copilot for coding assistance and related things or not. And then the demos. Okay, so demos in different areas like how to use GitHub Copilot in our code editors, Visual Studio, then VS Code, and then using Copilot in Power Platform. Okay, then Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is available within Microsoft Office suite and all, and then some tips and tricks for developers, how to tweak prompts for better results, what it is capable of doing best, what it cannot do yet, how to review the Copilot generated code properly, the licensing information, and then wrap up. Okay, so let's get started. Right? Excited? Something new, something probably no one ever thought of, but the AI has made it a reality as on today, right? Maybe 5 years back or 10 years back, no one thought that, okay, the AI can reach up to the level where it can start coding by itself. It was just a topic being discussed within movies and all, right? Uh, I'm sure everyone must have seen that Matrix movie. So it was all about the future of AI and all. Little bit of hypothetical stuff also was there. But yeah, so whatever the AI we spoke about was limited to that. But now, these days, from past 2 to 3 years, we can see AI being involved almost everywhere, right? So, Copilot, if I talk about, first let's talk about Copilot, its variants, and then we'll talk about the GitHub Copilot. So what exactly Copilot in real life means? Forget about AI, forget about the Copilot tool. Copilot is the term that is taken from the aviation industry, right? There is captain and there is first officer usually who helps captain uh, fly the plane, right? Some commands, some controls are there in the hands of the first officer. And this first officer is usually the uh, person who is termed as co-pilot. Pilot is the captain, co-pilot is the first officer, right? Co-pilot. I hope you understand the term. Some helper, right? That's why co-pilot, not the main. So when it comes to co-pilot and technology, the AI enabled tool that we have from Microsoft, exactly what it is. It is not the one in the driver's seat. It's not going to do anything by itself. You as a user have to lead that particular job and Copilot will be there to assist you. Particularly here, if I talk about the flavors of Copilot, there is one basic Copilot available for free for all, which more or less is like the chat GPT, right? Which accepts the prompts and answers your queries based on those prompts on portal itself. So you have copilot.microsoft.com, right? You just need the Microsoft account to get going. Okay, so very generalized. Then you have Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is Copilot plus the integration with the business productivity software that Microsoft comes up with, like Office 365, Power Platform, or you can also include Dynamics 365. Okay, so that's Microsoft 365 Copilot, the enterprise version of Copilot. So it doesn't just give you the answers based on the general things, but more specific business oriented things also it covers, right? So if you have a Microsoft 365 account with you, your Windows also gets an app for it, right? You can see this icon. This is Copilot icon only. And this is Microsoft 365 Copilot only. You need to have a subscription for that. Otherwise, the free version features will be available by default for you. Then if you see Notepad, Windows Classic text editor, there also we have got Copilot integration, right? So again, even this also requires the Microsoft 365 subscription, first of all. Once you log in with that, with the active subscription, these all things will start working. Your notes can be rewritten with different words, can be summarized, can be made shorter, can be made longer. The tone can be changed, and even you can take the help of Copilot for changing the format. Now, this is for any user. Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot is for any business user, whether technical or not, right? You have this available with a Copilot app also on your phone. So again, there are two types of apps. One is Copilot app, one is Microsoft 365 Copilot app. So you can figure out the difference easily. Okay. Next that you have is my GitHub Copilot. Now here it's an integration between GitHub and Copilot. So what is GitHub? Initially it started with code repository platform, right? Right? Code
Yes, correct.
repository
Yes.
where you can commit the code, where you can push the code if you are using a remote repository. Okay. Later on, it also got enhanced to support more developer features like you can create code reviews, code review requests. Then you can have CI/CD pipeline developed in Copilot. You can have automated deployment of code, right? So many features got added, but that was more of, you know, backend kind of features, hidden features, not something which developers can use for assistance. They just use it for their needs, fulfilling the needs. Am I right? Now, Copilot has been integrated with GitHub also, which is what we call as GitHub Copilot. To work with that, what you need is GitHub account on github.com. You log in with that. I have already logged in, so it directly took me to my dashboard. Otherwise, you first log in and then you get in. And here, if you click on this user icon and see, you have an option for your Copilot. You go here and the GitHub Copilot basically can be configured here. It also comes in multiple flavors. You have Copilot free, right? Which gives you 2000 code completion responses in a month, 50 chat messages per month, not more than that, limited. This is something good to get. Okay, to get the feel. Next is GitHub Copilot Pro. So you have unlimited messages and interactions, unlimited code completions, access to latest AI models. You can customize the conversation to your private code base and extensions. And then there is something called as Copilot Pro Plus also, with even more admin features being added to it. And then there is GitHub Copilot Enterprise, which is for the big organizations. Right, so you can activate from here. You can actually start a free trial also for 30 days. Though for this, you will actually need to uh, provide your credit card details to authenticate yourself. For first month, you won't be charged. Thereafter, you will be charged 10 US dollars per month if you are doing monthly payment. If you subscribe for complete year, one short payment if you are willing to do, in that case, $100 means it's not even $10 per month then. 100 divided by 12, you can find out. Little over $8 per month, right? $8.5 you can say, right? Okay. As of now, it says the premium request will be unlimited until June 4th. After that, it will be by invite. There will be limit. Right. So that's where we have this Copilot business, which is what we call as GitHub Copilot Enterprise. Right. This can be used basically to provide the features to all the users within the organization, enterprise users. So that will be enterprise subscription. Feature wise, Copilot Pro Plus and Copilot Business will be the same. Just that some enterprise control comes up over here with this. Okay, so that is something about the licensing part. How do I get the access? If you have not done yet the activation, free trial, you can activate immediately, no card required. I mean, the free version. And free trial, if you want, you can put in your card details and you can get started, right? Unlimited access you can get for next 30 days. After which you have the choice whether you want to go ahead or not. Okay. Let me close this. Once you do this, basically within your code editor also, you can have the GitHub account signed in, and then GitHub Copilot features will start working. So how that works, that also I'll show you. Here, let me close this solution. I was working with something else. So if I just start Visual Studio, I get something like this, right? Here we have the sign in icon for GitHub Copilot. I click this and here I can say sign in. Initially, because I'm already signed in, it's not asking for sign in, but I can do that. And I can manage my subscription from here also without going to GitHub Copilot portal. I can also upgrade to Copilot Pro from here. And I can see how much units I've consumed so far. Chat window, GitHub Copilot chat, if I'm looking for, I can launch from here at any point in time. You do have some walkthrough also. Like after this session, if you want to drill deep, dig deep and find out what all details are there, how do I work with it and all, you can actually go here, right? Complete documentation you have. And then you have enable Copilot completions. So if this is set, which I've set, automatic code completion suggestions will start for you, right? And then learn options are also there. And then here you can see the feedback link is there. And if I'm looking to collaborate with my team members, I can start a collaboration session as well. Right. So I just need to log in with my GitHub Copilot account over here. Okay. So once logged in, GitHub Copilot starts. And you can see there is a window also that I have activated, GitHub Copilot chat. If not visible there, somewhere here you can actually look for it. Okay. In the menus. Now, see, I just launched that window and it has started giving me the inputs. Like if I'm looking to update my Visual Studio, how to update? How can I find and install updates for Visual Studio? Just like a chatbot, I can just chat with it. It also allows me to set the context for which document I'm looking for, which file I'm looking for. By default, active document is automatically picked up. Any other thing, if I want, I can add from here. So I can go for with selections. I can go with active document. I can go for solution scope, file scope, class, method, or if I'm looking to upload some image for reference, right? And this option is on auto attach active document. So this is automatically set, right? Beside that, here we do have the selection for which model you want to get the responses from the AI models. Google Gemini is also there. Cloud is there. Then GPT 4.0 and GPT 4.1 are also there, and O3 Mini is also there. Okay, so whichever gives you the best response, probably with experience, you know that, okay, for this kind of query, this kind of prompt, this model gives me the best response. I'll select that. And then here, do you see this section ask? We have two options. One is like interactive session. I want GitHub Copilot. And then there is agent mode also, which has been recently released after Microsoft Build, during Microsoft Build rather, right? Which provides more professional uh, assistance to you to complete the code, to build the code, to fix the bugs, and do the testing and many more. Okay, very, very professional level support. This is going to be as if there is a developer only sitting with you as an your assistant, maybe one of your junior, who is a technical person who has got a lot of know-how, may not be deep know-how, but up to great extent, the know-how is there and can assist you coding. That's why GitHub Copilot is also called as peer programmer. And at times it is also called as pair programmer. Okay. So you can actually set the mode as per the need, right? And moving on to the next question, how or why Copilot is a big deal for developers today, right? So some input probably you have already got over here. Right. So in fact, before we go for this, let's talk about what GitHub Copilot is capable of doing. GitHub Copilot basically can provide you the auto completion suggestions for the code in real time as you type your code. It by default understands the context in which you are working with based on the current file, project, solution, as per whatever the settings you have given. It has got the support for multiple languages and the support is growing. So all major languages like C Sharp, VB.NET, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Golang, Ruby, Java, all are supported over here. Many more are supported here. And then it also does learn from the comments. You don't need to actually put the prompts each and every time to get GitHub going. You just put the comment. This is what I am intending to do, or this is my intention. Like sort an array of numbers. It will automatically suggest the code for array sorting, the complete algorithm. Now it is up to you to accept it or not. If you want to accept, you press tab and it just integrates that suggested code within your code file wherever the cursor is, right after the comment usually, right? Now what Copilot chat is, this is more of a interactive chatbot or assistant where you can have a complete question and answer sessions, right? There is some code which you don't understand. So you can select and ask Copilot, please explain what this is or what this code is about, how it is working, explain the logic. You can give the prompt like simplify this code, right? Break down this code into smaller units, generate unit test cases. So it is completely context aware, right? You can get multiple tasks done with the help of natural language using English statements. In future, probably more languages other than English also will be onboarded. Use your natural language, give the requirement, and let the Copilot do the job for you, as if you are actually talking to a human assistant of yours. Make sense? Does it sound interesting? Right? So, as I said, the chat, you can say, what does function do? It will answer the coding questions for you. You can say, explain this code to me in plain English. You can also ask Copilot chat to suggest improvements or refactorings, whatever required, optimization required, cleanup of the code required. And then Copilot chat can help you debug your application also by analyzing the error messages and suggesting the fixes on the fly at real time. And as I said, it can also help you generate the test cases. Understood? Now, the key is how you interact. You interact with one or the other type of prompting. Use the chat interface to prompt, or use the inline chat interface to prompt, or use the comments to prompt. Your prompts must be very, very specific and clear. If you put your requirement clearly, there are more chances you will be getting the correct suggestions. So like, if I say sort this means what? There is no clarity in this. If I say sort array with the name ARR, this is more specific, right? Another one, write a Python function to sort a list of integers in descending order. Very detailed and specific prompt. This is a good prompt. So there has to be clarity all the time within the prompt. Plus, ensure that the context has been set properly. You have to make sure that you have provided the relevant background or the code snippets for this, right? So maybe you have written some code which interacts with this database in the back end. So you might say, given this function that fetches user data, and I am, or maybe I just request add error handling for the network failures for this function or database failures for this function. It will do the needful. Then your intent must be clear as well. Clearly state what you want the AI to do. Explain what this code does. Refactor this function to improve readability is where your intent is pretty much clear. Then mention any limitations or requirements as well. So put the constraints also in the prompt, like use only standard Python libraries, keep the response under 100 words, right? And then you can also specify the desired output format explicitly. Return the result as a JSON object or return the result as XML stream, right? Or CSV or whatever. Write the response as a whatever format you want, let's say markdown table or something, right? Understand? Any questions so far? Now, let's move on to the next section here about how it works. So there are two things I've mentioned here, OpenAI, Azure OpenAI and Microsoft Graph. This is what it uses behind the scenes. Azure OpenAI, the OpenAI API hosted on Azure, right? And then Microsoft has got its own library to assist it further with the data and all. To fetch the data from internet, it uses this, and the models it uses from here, Azure OpenAI. And when put together, it basically provides you the results, right? Moving on to this, is it safe? So when I say context awareness is there, it reads my code. So the questions come to mind, like whether my code is safe or not. Am I giving my code to third party? If yes, how safe my code is there in the hands of the third party? Would that question be there in mind or not? Of course, yes. So the answer is standard practices Microsoft has already ensured that are being followed, right? The data sharing policies and all. But then your data, your code is actually being submitted to the Copilot servers. Now it depends on your environment settings and configuration where you can actually control. Though this feature is available only for the business customers. I mean, Copilot Business or Copilot Enterprise, whatever you call it. There, the administrator can say what data can go, what data cannot go, what are the telemetry that can go, what are the telemetry that cannot go. In that case, whatever the local suggestions are there that are possible will be provided to you. The Copilot server based suggestions might get blocked because of that, right? So because see, ultimately, if code is not submitted to the servers, how the analysis of that code will happen? And if analysis is not happening, how we get the responses based on that code, right? So that's why code submission is required. But then you can control that also up to what extent the code should be submitted and what code should be submitted, what code should not be submitted. You can also control whether you want the suggestions from some specific private repositories in the GitHub only, or you want the suggestions from the public repositories also. By default, it's on for public repositories as well. But with enterprise subscription, you have the control, right? So you can make it safe beyond what Microsoft is already providing you, right? So it provides you the way to make the GitHub Copilot and the Copilot chat behave in compliance with whatever the policies your organization is following. Understand? So let me go to Visual Studio now. And here I simply say I want a new project, and Visual Studio complete version is there, not the code. So obviously it is going to be .NET stuff. Here I say create a console application for me. Okay, so let's say the name of the project I give as demo console app, and I put this into some directory. And say next, whichever version of the framework you want to target, right? And containerized app or something if you want to create from the beginning, right? So as per your need, you create the project. By default, I get the hello world stuff. So here I say GitHub Copilot is what I want to use. Here I put my comment. This is simple console application that prints hello world to the console. In fact, even this also has been suggested by GitHub Copilot only. If I'm okay, I just accept it by pressing tab and I press enter, and immediately it suggests the next line of code. Do you see? If required, I can go ahead with the completion. Then here I say, write a function that calculates the factorial of a number and call it here in main method. Okay, press enter and see, it starts suggesting immediately. In fact, here, if I wait for some time, it actually suggests the desired code by default over here. Do you see? I just say accept. Automatically, it created the function static long calculate factorial. How come static? Because it understood the context that I'm calling in main. Main itself is static. So definitely here, the function also needs to be static. If I want it to be an instance member, I should have modified my prompt accordingly. And this will work, you know. How to run the code is not something which I need to show. The result will be there for sure. If I say control F5, input number is 5. So the factorial is 120. It's giving me, right? I undo this and I change my prompt a bit. Write a function that calculates the, write a instance instead of function. Let's say I call it as method. The object-oriented terminology that calculates the factorial of a number and call it here in main method. And see. Right? Okay, so instance method, probably it has not understood. I can refine the prompt further and it will do that. Right? And then I can also say, instead of this, write a class named calci in a new file that has a method, or let's say instance method, that calculates the factorial of a number and call it here in main method using instance of calc class. Put dot at the end and just wait for a while, and you should be able to see the suggestion immediately. Right? It depends on your bandwidth also, in fact. So you can do it in parts also, like let's say instead of the whole stuff over here, I say write a class calc. And see, it remembered my earlier context. Maybe that's what it generated here. Created a class calc, function factorial, and the instance of calc being created, factorial function being called, result being displayed. Isn't it nice? It's just like I'm asking my assistant, boss, please do this. And it's appearing here. I can also say, write a bubble sort algorithm in C#. Let's wait for a while and it should suggest. I can rather put that here. I don't want here. Let's say I want in calc class. Let's say here I create an array. Something like this. And here then I say write a method to sort the numbers in ascending order using bubble sort algorithm. And there it is. I just accept it. Right? Show thumbs up those who like this feature. It can basically increase your developer productivity multiple times. Yes or no? Right? So much assistant. And this is just one language we saw. This you can try with any language that is supported over here. Let's say I create a JavaScript file here, though this is not the right type of project for creating JavaScript files, but just for demo, I can do that. Here I say add new file, and what I'm looking for is something from web. I'm looking for a JavaScript file. Let it be having the name JavaScript 1.js. Okay. Here I want to write a function that validates a string to see if it is a valid email address. Wait for a while and there should be the code generated for you. There it is. My internet is little slow today, so that's why the responses are little slow. Usually it's very quick. Hardly 2 to 3 seconds it takes. See, automatically it use the regular expression and testing against the same. returning true or false, whether the email address is valid or not, right? This could have been a TypeScript file. This could have been F# file, VB.NET file, C++ file, whatever you wanted. Understood? Now, here I have a question. I don't understand what this pattern is, right? I copy this pattern, or maybe I have a shortcut also. I just select the pattern, right click, and say ask Copilot. The prompt goes here in the inline chat, or else I can use the dedicated GitHub Copilot chat also. I say, explain how this regex works and how to create regex based on this. You can ask one question at a time also. Have a look at that explanation and see. It actually started giving me all details as if I'm asking the question to some expert person, right? Now, this is something which I can use as a developer to learn new things also. I probably have some code for my reference. Maybe many times we download samples from GitHub repositories or some articles or any other online resources, right? But we don't understand it in the single go. We spend a lot of time in understanding how the things are working. So the GitHub Copilot is there for your help. From different models, if you ask the same question, maybe the solutions that you get might be different as well. If I further want to continue in the chat window, dedicated chat, I can click this link also. So it will by default launch GitHub Copilot chat, and see, it moves all the conversation there. Yes. Is this clear? How to work with GitHub Copilot chat, right? I can use the Copilot chat to translate the code also to other language from the current language. Let's say translate is valid email function to TypeScript, or TypeScript is quite similar. So I might say Python. Check this out. You got the Python code out of it. Now, suppose this kind of tool is not there with you. How much time will you take to get these things done? You need to learn the other language. You need to have some expertise into it, some basic expertise at least, right? You need to understand what this is. You need to understand what this is, and so on. Correct? I go back to my C# function, and here I select this sort numbers function, and I say ask Copilot again, and there I say document sort numbers method using XML comments, which Visual Studio supports very well, right? In case of Java, you have Java docs and so on. See, if accept tab, all del to discard, if it goes for another alternate suggestion on this, I can say accept, and done. right? Very powerful. Not only the code generation, but I can have the comment generation, normal comments, language comments, or XML comments, Java docs, right? Whatever it is. I can also say select this, right click, ask Copilot, and say generate unit tests for this. Because it is selected, I can use the word this over here very well. See which unit testing framework it has used. By default, it is going with X unit, right? If I'm not okay, I just press escape or alt del and it's undone, right? I say select this and again say ask Copilot and say generate detailed unit tests for this using n unit. I can put my choice also. Got this? Do you like it? How much day-to-day activity, day-to-day work can be taken over by this? Enhances the developer productivity greatly, right? Let me introduce a bug explicitly somewhere. Maybe here I am not saying this. +1 is something which I missed. Okay, so there is a logical error. I can select and ask Copilot, check this for bugs. So it immediately detects, right? And suggest also that, okay, this seems to be a bug and this should be corrected. If I press tab, it will automatically change it with the comment also, right? You can automate lots of tasks, right? Debugging, troubleshooting, bug fixation, then finding bugs, right? Code generation, code completion, anything you can do. Visual Studio was already very rich. With the help of GitHub Copilot, this has become even more powerful, right? This GitHub Copilot is working just like a magician for us. Makes sense? So this is Visual Studio. Now let me close this and go into another tool, VS Code. So for that, I go to CMD, command prompt basically, where I go to my root drive and Copilot Webinar Demos. Here I create a new directory. Let's say VS Code demo. I get inside this. And I actually like to create a React application over here, let's say. So JavaScript, TypeScript, React, everything I can do that, right? So how do we create the React app over here? These days, create React app is obsolete. We use the npm create command, and we create the app with the help of a package called as white, right? So I say white, which version, latest, and here I say I want to create using TypeScript. Yes. Yes. And let's press enter. Project name it is asking for. So let's say the name of the project is demo. It has to be in all small letters. That's React's requirement. I say demo dash React. What type of project I'm looking for is React. Here also it does ask me which language you want, TypeScript, JavaScript, whether you want to use React router or not, right? So I say TypeScript. Then I say cd demo React and code space dot. I already have VS Code installed. So VS Code will open in the current directory automatically. So here I have the React code, correct? React application created. Okay. Here also I have installed the GitHub Copilot chat and GitHub Copilot under extensions. So if I go to extensions and search for GitHub Copilot, you can see GitHub Copilot is already installed and GitHub Copilot chat is also installed. I did install GitHub Copilot for Azure also to work with Azure features. Okay. Now, because of this extensions available, what I can do is I can simply launch GitHub Copilot chat. Uh, yeah, so basically I need to add the component first of all. Here we say add the React component in a folder under SRC. Select SRC, new folder, and name this as components. That's a typical convention, right? Yes. And then here I say create a new file under components. Let's name this as democomp.tsx, and see here immediately it gives me the selection. Open chat using Control plus I key combination, or select a language by using Control KM, or fill with template to get started. Start typing to dismiss, or don't show this again. If you start typing, it will go away. But I mean, you want to do it on your own. Okay. Then I can press Control I right over here, wherever I want, even after having some code added. At any point when I feel the need for the help from the GitHub Copilot chat, I can press Control I. Wherever the cursor is present that time, that's where the accepted code will be injected. Right? I could have created the comment also over here. Like maybe first of all, as I've asked for this chat, I'll provide a prompt over here. Let's say create a React functional component or class component as per your need. These days, functional components are used more. So that's why I'm using React functional component named, or if I don't provide name, it will derive from the file name by default. Okay. For let's say user profile card, exact need I'm giving. And see, it just does the needful, generates all the code. If I'm okay, I just say accept, right? Now, there are some issues over here. Here, Copilot can suggest me the fixes as well. See, I hover on the issue, this thing comes up, the pop-up, right? View problem will show me the problem. Quick fix will provide quick fix. That is the feature of VS Code itself. But Copilot gives me this option, fix using Copilot. Simply it says you are missing a package. So go to the terminal and get these packages installed, right? If okay, go ahead and do that because this is not the code change. I'm not having accept button here, right? I can say close. Here also I have issue. Typically, TypeScript says that any variable that you declare must have a type. If you don't give type by default, it goes for any which may be, introducing bugs at a later time. So let's say fix using Copilot. It analyzes your code and probably suggests what changes you should be making. It should be string. In fact, it has suggested for everything. I accept and my code will automatically change, right? Now, again, this is the module missing. That's why the error. Otherwise, I could have fixed that in line. There is no error in this code. It is just that the package is not installed. If I install, it will work. So quickly I can do all the development. I need not be very, very proficient in React or Angular or any technology for that matter. Wherever the GitHub Copilot is there for my assistance, I can just get the things done using Copilot. I just need to know enough about the platform, the technology, the language, so that I can verify the correctness of the suggested code. I don't need anything beyond that. I need not be expert in that. So it's like I just do the code review. Got my point? I can also go to Copilot chat, explicit chat window over here. So under view, we do have chat. So that is GitHub Copilot chat only. And here I can put a comment like, okay, before this, how I would have done this with the help of uh, comment, not with the help of the prompt in the inline chat. So I just say TypeScript also uses the comment with 2 slashes. I put 2 slashes and here I say create a functional React component. What was it? For a user profile card. And it starts suggesting. Right? Yeah, so internet speed seems to be slow, so it's not suggesting everything. But yes, usually you will find it. Using the inline chat, we have already seen that, right? It understands the context and it gives you the suggestions accordingly. So let me delete this file, and here I say in the chat window, dedicated window, which I got from here, view chat, I say @workspace. At the project level, if I wish to do something, create, same thing, create a React component, React functional component for, let's say, a login form with email and password fields. My prompt can have details like this also. What exactly are the things I want to include? So it will include that only, right? And I click send. Here it is. Understand? You can copy, you can say insert at cursor, you can say apply an editor, insert into terminal, insert into new file, whatever. So let's say I select components here and then I say insert into new file, and it just does the needful. Okay, I need to save this file myself wherever I want. So I save, and let's say I go to SRC components and I name this as login form.tsx. TSX is just TypeScript based JSX. So it's saved. And again, this is because the module is not installed. If I want to get going, I just say npm I and the module name it is asking for. So I can once again ask it the exact name. React. So I say React. Useful. Angular, Vue.js, if you are looking to work with, you can become expert in that. You yourself can learn many things with the help of this, right? It suggests all the good practices also for you. It has discovered everything. No error now, right? What my point? It all depends on how good you are in writing your prompts, right? So that's what we call as prompt engineering, right? The pinpointed prompts, sharp prompts. Make sense? Now I get this closed. Here I say cd dot dot, and I create a new folder here, demo dash Python. And here I directly say code dot. Okay. If I'm having some Python library installed, some tooling installed to create Python projects, I will use that to create the project. As of now, I'm looking for individual Python file. Okay. Here I say new file. And I name this as hello world demo. For Python, we have the extension as py, and then I say control I. Again, I have the choices control I, or I can put comment, or I can use GitHub Copilot chat also. Here I say write Python script for displaying hello world on screen, or on console to be precise. That's it. Do you get that? Last week, I conducted a training for one of my clients where they were basically mainly the Python and Java developers, and I have very elementary knowledge in both Python and Java. Whatever required for my day-to-day project things, consulting things, I know only that. I am not in depth. And those people were like 15-year experience, 20-year experience people in those technology platforms. Even Spring Boot and all they use for building the RESTful services in Java, right? For a single moment, I didn't feel that I don't know this. It is GitHub Copilot which helped me with that. Though the training was on GitHub Copilot only, the deep dive training, but they wanted the demos to be created in their required stuff or their required technology platforms. And believe me, not for a single moment I felt that I don't know this. Isn't that nice? I had the confidence that I should be able to do it. I had basic elementary knowledge, like I could understand Java statements, I could understand Python statements, syntaxes and all. Basic understanding I had. So with the help of that, I was able to do everything. I was able to create Spring Boot projects. I was able to create the RESTful APIs, complex APIs also, just with my prompting skills, right? So you can start doing the prototyping also, or building the uh, POC applications also pretty quickly with the help of this GitHub Copilot. How many of you feel confident that, okay, not at the very deep level, but I should be able to make use of GitHub Copilot right after this session with the inputs which we have got till now? You can start exploring the things at least, right? You may not become expert in using this. Your prompts may not be absolutely perfect immediately after the session, but as you start using, slowly you will develop that skill based on the responses that you get actually. Yes, right? So this GitHub Copilot actually puts you in a different space altogether, right? Confidently, you can say, okay, give me any task, I'll be able to do it. And see, I should be able to run this also. I just say start debugging Python. I have already got installed. So Python debugger is there. I'm looking to run Python file, not the Python project. So I select Python file, and in the terminal, I should be able to see the output. Yes, right? Useful, right? Very, very useful. See, here also we got some input. GitHub Copilot chat can help you start debugging either based on a terminal command or with an interactive chat. So everywhere Copilot is there for your help. It's actually going by its name. It's a Copilot. You are the pilot and GitHub Copilot is the Copilot for you. Whatever task you take, Copilot will assist you in that. You just need to ask right questions. I mean, you need to provide right prompts, pinpointed prompts. Because as I said, GitHub Copilot is like a junior person, right? Assisting you. So if your commands are right, the junior will behave perfectly. If commands are not clear, not perfect, definitely the outcome will not be relevant, right? Agreed? Let me close this, and now we'll move on to our next section where we are actually going for the Copilot uh, on the Power Platform. In fact, right? You can use it there. Azure also has got Copilot extension into it. So before we go for this Power Platform, let me quickly go to portal.azure.com, log in. And do you see this Copilot? This is not browser Copilot extension. This is Azure Copilot extension, right? And you can take 100% help from this also for deploying, managing your services on Azure, optimizing the resources, right? See, there is a suggested prompt also. Help me identify expensive resources. Let's say this is my first prompt. I can ask the questions like what will be the pricing for this type of resource with this configuration if I use it for 15 days. It will give you the detailed answer. Your query is natural language query, which it will transform to whatever the platform understands and will get the job done for you. So here I say, what are the most expensive resources in my subscription? So scope I am providing, the context. I don't even need to know where I see the costing in my Azure subscription. If I know, well and good, but I need not spend time in searching for the same. If I'm a newbie, this is going to be very, very helpful for me. Yes, costing usually is a challenge working with cloud services. It does complete analysis and then it probably then provide you the output. I further fine tune the prompt. It got my subscription ID. I can also say what is the costing for this resource or this resource group. Those who have worked with Azure in the past or maybe working with Azure as of now should be able to understand this very easily, right? Can you show me a cost breakdown of my Azure subscription? It will show me that as well. Right? The more clear your prompt is, the more accurate the answer will be. See? This all has been generated based on my usage of this subscription. Do you get that? Absolute charges, percentage also has been displayed. Useful? The Copilot slowly is going to be there in every Microsoft platform. Now this is the Power Platform. Just you can go to make.powerautomate.com and it will render that dashboard like this. See, Here also I'm going to get the same thing. Okay. Copilot is sitting deep inside this also. So Power Apps, whether you have worked or not, but you want to do something, you have some prompts already over here. Every month, copy all files from one drive folder to another OneDrive folder. Copy all rows from an Excel file to another Excel file. When a new item is created in SharePoint, send me an email or whatever you want, right? Okay. Here I say, like for this event, I believe uh, you might have subscribed using one page on our website. Am I right? Anybody can unmute and say yes or no?
Yes.
Right. How we came to know that you have subscribed? There could be different ways, like the data is going in a database and there is a reporting engine where some of our team member can keep on checking who has subscribed, right? But that's more manual. Another way is the emails can go to the mailboxes, designated mailboxes, right? Okay. Then I can also create a Microsoft Flow based workflow, which says that, okay, whenever the subscription is saved, I mean, anyone subscribes, anyone submits a form, put it in database, send an email and send a notification in Teams chat also. And plus, for the subscriber, send the action point. The meeting link or something should be shared automatically. So we are actually working on that. Next time when you register for some event, you might receive the meeting link with an automated process, right? Okay. Now see, there are some suggested flow descriptions also over here. Like when a tweet is posted, post a message to Teams channel. Now, what this tweet is about, let's say I can say anyone posting the tweet for or about my company, Optimistic Infosystem, I want that message to be posted in the Teams channel, right? Or post a message to Teams channel when I upload a new video to YouTube. I can put my prompt also, right? Like I can say when an email is received with attachment, upload attachments to Azure Blob or maybe to SharePoint or save it in OneDrive, whatever. See, right? I can say generate. Let's see what it does. See, automatically it created a suggestion for me, a flow. When an email arrives in Office 365 Outlook, actions configured for each attachment, create file on SharePoint. If I am okay with this suggestion, I say keep it and continue. The flow is automatically configured, right? I can also create a flow like whenever I receive an inquiry on, let's say, inquiry@optimisticinfo.com in the form of an email. Say for so and so technology, we are looking for a training. Okay. My workflow should automatically be triggered. and find out the matching profiles which I have uploaded to SharePoint, right, with those skill sets. And instead of directly mailing it to the client, maybe those profiles are attached to a mail to my salesperson who is handling that client, right? Right? So that he does not now need to find out who will be the trainer for this session, whom I wish to pitch. I can put my criteria in that. Which trainer has done the subject training in recent past? Most number of deliveries happened by that person. The feedback was good, say above 4.5 or something. I can put my criteria as per my need. And of course, if it's a freelancer trainer whom I work with, I might be looking to filter on cost also. The trainer might have delivered with 5 out of 5 feedback, right? And extremely successful delivery, but trainer is costly, right? Suppose not fitting in the budget of my client only. Forget about me. My budget will be based on what the client is approving, right? So I can put my criteria there, right? And then those shortlisted profiles can be attached into a separate mail, means a new mail can be sent to my salesperson that, okay, this inquiry came, these are the matching profiles, so that he can just take the final decision which profiles needs to be suggested to the client. I can also set the number of profiles to be shortlisted, 5, 10, whatever. Further shortlisting would be done manually by the salesperson, right? And proceed. In that process itself, I can automate something like a notification is sent to the trainer. If it is internal trainer, no notification required, just his availability needs to be checked by analyzing the calendar in SharePoint or in Outlook. If external trainer, probably I send an email to get the confirmation from that trainer whether he is willing to do that training and is available. If yes, when he is available. I can draft an email and shoot it. If he says, yes, willing to do the training and these are the available dates, again, that also can be shortlisted. If the trainer says, no, I am not willing to deliver this, or I'm not available on set dates, if dates are fixed by the client, then it will be removed from the shortlist. So my salesperson need not spend a lot of time in doing all this clerical job. Salesperson should focus on sales, not this clerical stuff, right? So I actually don't need a dedicated resource manager for this. Instead of having, let's say, 100 resource managers for different clients, I might get it done with 10 people in the resource manager capacity who will just verify and validate whether the AI generated response is actually correct or not, or maybe in case some manual coordination is required, right? Turnaround time will be much more better in this. I can give quick responses to the client. And when we are in the service industry, basically, we do well if we are responding within as less time frame as possible, right? Request came within next half an hour. If response goes, I have more chance of winning that order. Yes. Someone who is responding 2 days later will have less chance. I'm not saying there is no chance. I'm saying possibility or probability of getting the chance will be less if you are responding late. So if I bring in these kind of automations, that will help me. Yes or no? Right? I can put some conditions also over here, like analyze what type of document it is. Right? Only Word documents I want, or only text documents I want. So I first of all say create the flow. It gave me the preview first. Here comes the flow, and here now I can customize the flow as per the need. We have got multiple options over here. We do have AI Builder as well. So let's say I go to AI Builder and I can say, yeah, these are some AI specific activities that are provided for us, right? Extract custom entities, detect the language, and so on. If it is invoicing, invoice processing can start, right? Say I go for classify into custom category. I actually need to log into Azure AI service for that. That's why it is asking for sign in. Microsoft Dataverse I will need to sign in with. But now I just remove this. Now I just click on this when a new email arrives, which mailbox it is going to search for, the currently logged in one. Saket Karnik at optimisticinfo.com is the currently logged in one. On what basis I'm saying here it's visible, connected to. If I wish to change the connection to something else, I can change it from here. Let's say this is not the mailbox I want. Instead, I'm looking for a different mailbox. So I can click sign in and I can sign in with the new mailbox here. Whichever one I want to sign in with. Let's say I'm looking for this Hotmail. Hotmail, I'm not sure whether it will be accepted. It's not Office 365, it's a personal ID. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So that's okay. I just say cancel and I'm okay this mailbox, right? I'll use hotmail.com ID to send the email with attachment. Okay. So I can make changes whether to include attachments or not, and whether the mail with attachments only need to be processed or not. That was our prompt. So that's why it has set yes to both, right? And then further settings, right? And then I click on save. If any changes made, those changes will be saved. Here there is some error, so I again get a button, assist me with Copilot, right? So it says create file activity is having some issue, right? Site address, where to save it. Target I have not set. So probably this is where I have the issue. I select create, and here I give the SharePoint site address. Let me check. It must be, yeah, it's already visible. So I say it is going to be Optimistic Info Systems. This one. And the folder path also I can get it from here where I want to save it, whether in list or shared documents or where. So let's say shared documents is the path. Should have taken this. Why error? Maybe because of space or something.
लय म्हटलंय उद्या प्रोग्राम म्हटली तरी
Okay, let me select lists. And then again, I go back and select shared documents. It should take it. File name automatically picked up dynamically, and file content also picked up. I click on save again. And now there seems to be no error. This looks all good, all okay, right? Your flow is ready to go. We recommend you test it. How to test it? I can generate the test from here as a maintainer of this. But ideally, this is automatically triggered. This is up and running. It's active. So I just need to send the email to this email box. So what I do is I go to hotmail.com or outlook.com, any mailbox. It could be Gmail, it could be anything. This is my personal mailbox only,
तो लिव्ह चालले होते
hotmail.com. And here I say new mail, Saket at optimisticinfo.com, subject, documents, please find attached. Any text you want to add, you can add. More important for this demo is I put some attachments over here. So attachment, where it is, insert attach file. And let's say I go for this document. It could be multiple files also, right? And then here I say send. Check and sent items. It's dispatched. And then I go to my Office mailbox, Outlook basically. Need to wait for a while. And yes, here it comes. This is the mail I received. This is the attachment. So mailbox has received it. And now I go over here. My flow must have worked already. So let's see if we can check the run history for this flow somewhere. My flows. This is the flow. And yeah, so it shows average run duration 2 seconds or something. It actually got succeeded. Here is the run history. If I click this, see, tick, tick. And if I expand this, create file also has succeeded, right? And where it has placed that is here. Okay. Optimistic.sharepoint.com. Let me open another tab. I go to optimistic.sharepoint.com. I log in with my Office ID. Under documents we have uploaded. It should be available here. You can go to folders also, in fact. Okay. Site contents, the folder documents. It should be appearing here. Documents, or yeah, shared something I selected, right? Not documents. I use my sites. Yes, there it is. Shared thing. Yeah, so here it is, right? So this is my team site, and this is where in the shared section I added this. So here it got added, right? See, it says 3 minutes ago only. Who sent it? Saket Karnik. So my workflow is also working fine without any issues. You get that? And I practically need not have any expertise in creating the workflows. If I'm okay with the suggested things, I'm good. This can automate a lot of things for me. Yes or no? Right? So what will be the use case of Microsoft 365 Copilot in Outlook? I can prompt, I mean, once Outlook gets that Copilot button, I can prompt it to summarize emails sent in last 1 week on a uh, specific uh, email chain. Or I can say summarize the complete email chain with the subject as this, or receive from so and so ID or so and so contact. Or I can say send email, follow up email daily basis on this topic, like maybe what happened to the training requirement, or maybe what happened to the payment dispersal for my invoice, and so on. Is it clear? In Word, I can take the assistance for writing better words, like ChatGPT. So with ChatGPT, the issue is I need to go to ChatGPT portal. There I need to put prompt and copy paste. I get integrated environment for the same with Copilot chat in Word or Excel or even PowerPoint. You need to have Copilot license for that within your Office 365 subscription. Microsoft 365 Copilot subscription is what you need, right? And it just works there as well, right? Now, this is something which we have already discussed while going with the demos, how to tweak prompts for better results. What it does best, also we know, right? What it cannot do yet, it cannot suggest you some code which has not been put in any public repository or private repository as yet. Something entirely new, some new technology if you are going ahead with, it may fail there, right? It needs some input to train itself, right? Though the team basically works on keeping the models as up to date as possible, but it's not real time, right? And review the Copilot code if you are looking for that. Same practices you have to follow, which you do follow for code review of your colleagues. You can use some code review tools also for your assistance for that, right? Licensing in the beginning only we discussed about. So that brings an end to this particular session. I hope you all enjoyed the session a lot and feeling confident about using GitHub Copilot right after this session. Yes. Any queries before we proceed? Yeah, any queries before we proceed to the feedback and then followed by a small quiz? This is just to judge like how many of the concepts you actually learn and how many of them you remember. So that lets you know your preparedness also to further explore. Correct? So 5 minutes, I'll wait for any queries. 4:50 will be starting with the feedback. which will take not more than 2 minutes. And once you are done, then we can start with the MCQ quiz. Over to you, Navjot and Sana. Yes, Sonali,
Yeah,
you can
hi,
unmute.
Saket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Olga.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a wonderful and informative session, first of all. Thank you for that. So, I'm
Thanks.
having the query about the prompt engineering that you have mentioned.
Yes.
So, from what should we, from where should we start if we want to learn the prompt engineering?
See, if you're working as a technical person, developer only, focus only on the technological things and ask very precise questions. Like if you are asking it to some trainer like me, or if you are asking to your senior, if you go precise, right, you will get better and relevant answers. If your questions are vague, your prompts are vague, your answers will be vague also. Right. So start from there only, get expertise developed in that area, and this is something which cannot be taught. You will practice, you will use. Maybe you don't get relevant responses, right? But then you improvise, you rephrase, change the words of the prompt, and then see if relevancy is increased or not. And that's how you will learn on your own, right? So it's not something which is a difficult stuff, right? Over the time you will be able to improvise, right? And models are also getting stronger and stronger day by day, so that even if you ask some misphrased or or malformed sentences within your prompts, it just understands your intent, right? AI itself is becoming stronger for that. So your prompts, even if malformed, you still get relevant answers at times, but you can further fine tune them, right? Got it, Sonali?
Yes, yes, understood.
So
Thanks.
that practice itself is what we call as prompt engineering. How do I write correct and relevant prompts so that I get relevant response? Yes, do's and don'ts of your own you can make. And then yes, the same experiences can be shared within the teams. Correct?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Jagbhushan.
Yes, hi. I was using Copilot just to translate the comments that we have in our code.
Mm-hmm.
The code was written in C sharp and the file was having more than 3000 line of code.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens after I think certain number of lines of code, the
Mm-hmm.
response get blocked. It doesn't respond. The
Mm-hmm.
Copilot doesn't respond.
Yes,
So
so that is probably because of the license that you have. If you have the business license or enterprise license, that won't be the issue. Still, if you have the similar issue, it might be due to the network bandwidth also. Sometimes the network bandwidth also fluctuates. So you just need to recreate the prompt, rerun the prompt in such cases. And before all, you need to ensure your license is correct. It's ready for processing 3000 lines per second.
can you just guide us from where we can see the license for what type of license that we have for Copilot?
Sorry,
I've
come
gone through
again.
I've gone through Visual Studio and I've gone through
Mm-hmm.
Copilot subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and there I can see that the license that I'm having is the business license,
Mm-hmm.
but still I'm
Yeah, so
facing the
it
issue.
it it might be because of the bandwidth in that case.
Okay.
So yeah, so if it is business license, you can raise the support ticket also there. If it is frequently faced, they will actually analyze and tell you what's going wrong, right? And this
Okay.
will improve in future because see, Copilot is pretty new. They are improvising their engines as well for the same, right?
Okay. Thank you.
And meanwhile, what I suggest is
Mhm.
do all this prompting and processing in chunks. Let's say 1500 lines of code at a time, not all 3000 lines of code at the same time. Make sense?
Yeah.
Break it down and then it should be able to do. It also depends on like how much resources have been allotted, hardware resources have been allotted to this. Correct?
Okay.
So give it some time, it will settle down. And most likely your problem will go away on its own.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, you can raise a support ticket also. Yeah. Anybody else? One last question I'll take. Okay. So Sana, are you there? Sana or Navjot?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So just take it ahead with the feedback and the quiz.
Sure, sir. Hi,
Right.
everyone.
And do
Uh,
share my email ID also with all the participants. In case,
sure,
guys, if you have any queries, you can just write an email to me. Okay.
sure. Definitely, sir. I'll do that.
So
Yeah, hi,
thanks
everyone.
everybody to attend this session and spare some time to get some knowledge on this GitHub Copilot. I hope you enjoyed the session and have a good day further. Thanks and bye bye. I'll drop out of the meeting. So now over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Hi, everyone. I have shared the MCQ